Facebook Live with Mel Rapozo. Today is March the 18th, Wednesday, March 18th. And thank you for joining us tonight. I have relocated to my desktop, so I'm hoping that the connection is good. And Sunny, what's up? Morgan, aloha, you guys. Carol, Parnell, Skyla, Francine, Amy, Marlene, Suri, Keala, Ona, Christina. Oh boy, I think we're gonna be crowded tonight, so we're gonna hang tight. Kimberly, what's up? Tisha, Corrine, I know we're gonna have Napa, my buddy Napa, all the way from the west side. Hope you dry. Yeah, so little different setup. The camera is in a different place, so forgive me if I'm not looking at the camera as much. I got a lot of notes. Holy moly, Bitos, Rebecca, Dwayne, Peggy, Pamela, Sheila, Millicent. Oh my gosh. Marie, Richard, Lisa, Clayton, Karen, Jay, 41, 42, and climbing, because I think a lot of people have a lot on their mind right now. It's been a pretty rough couple of weeks. Tony, you're welcome, Amy. Steph, Shino, Christian, Leonie, Stacy, Alicia, Roland. Holy moly, guys, we're gonna break it tonight. Nash, what's up? Kevin, aloha, you guys. Thanks for spending your Wednesday evening with us here at the Rapozo Hale in the Wailua House Lots. Rick, cousin Rick, all the way from Oahu. Awesome, awesome. I hope you guys can hear me and see me okay. Again, I didn't want to take a chance on a bad internet connection. Billy, what's up? Ginger, aloha, Mele, awesome. We got some new people on tonight as well. Awesome, awesome. So I wanted to be hardwired into our internet. So Paul, Alfred, Alma, aloha, you guys. Jody, Khalil, pardon me for the cough. I know last week was miserable. I couldn't even do the 1 hour show. I just had a bad cold, not the corona, but still trying to shake off the remnants of it. So Patsy has it as well, so you might hear her coughing in the background. Awesome. Marie, Millie, Alan, Cindy. Yeah, feeling a lot better, guys. Feeling a lot better. Like I said, still I got my hot tea. I got my cough drops. So I'm ready to roll. Rodney, Lola, Aurora, Kimo, Tiana, Chantel, James, Mel Medrano. What's up, Mel, my classmate? Holy moly, guys. Hang on. 80 on here so far. Angela, what's up? And I apologize if I missed some of you. This thing is scrolling pretty quick. So yeah, you can hear Patsy there coughing, and sorry about that. Haunani, what's up? What's up? I know we got a lot of stuff to talk about today. I want this to be a two-way conversation, so feel free to post your thoughts, your questions, your comments. There's Patsy. Kelly's on. John, Triana. Awesome, guys. I think we're gonna hit the 100 mark real soon. Glad you're feeling better. This has been a week for the books. Where do you start? Yeah, I know. Monica, Rubinette, and Derek, Adam, Tiffany. We're going to be talking about the curfew, Rebecca. We're going to be talking about, this show really will be all about the COVID-19, the coronavirus, and the impacts that it's having throughout the world, really, but more specifically here on Kauai. Mariah, Vaipulani, what's up? Lynette Osakora, geez, some old friends, some new friends. Thank you all. We got 94 people on right now. Judy Vegas, and again, I apologize. I know I didn't call 91 names, so I'm sure I'm missing a lot of you guys. Stella, Joseph. We're gonna hang tight for a couple of minutes just to Paige. Aloha, Paige. Thanks for what you do. Chief Raybuck, aloha, Chief. Boy, we got the big guns on here. Gilbert, Kawhi Rose, Darren, Eric. Gosh, we're going to hit 100 real soon. Spill the tea. And I'm not going to spill the tea. Not this time. Oh, this is delicious. Green tea. The Trump virus. Oh, gosh, here we go. We're not talking about Trump today. We're talking about the coronavirus and how it is impacting Kawhi, and you know, again, this is my opinions. My opinions don't reflect the opinions of anyone. This is just purely mine. We're over 100 people. Lord have mercy. I hope Facebook can hang on and accommodate. Nathan, Maxie, Chucky, Kuulemomi, Vanessa, Maynard Williams. How you guys doing? Gosh, this is definitely the record. Brenda, Judy. I have Momona virus. I get that too. Denise, Lynette, aloha, you guys. Thank you all. You know, we started this over a year ago. It started off kind of as a way to get out to my constituents while I was serving on a council, and then it just grew and grew. And you know, now we got, you know, upwards of 3,000 views a week, and I'm sure this one is going to go even more than that. Larry, Melvin Aki, aloha, you guys. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much for joining us. Yeah, a lot of stuff to talk about tonight. We're going to see how long it goes. I'm going to stay on as long as I need to, and I know you guys all got stuff to do. Facebook can maintain thousands. Yeah, so we're going to see. We're going to test it out tonight. Tom Valentini, Eric, Santiago, Leona, Addison, Klein, Kuapahi. Awesome, awesome. So anyway, let's do it. If you could do this, if you could do this for me, because the objective here is to get this out to as many people as we can. Lisa, what's up? Lorraine Rapozo, awesome, awesome. Sherry Cummings, beautiful, beautiful. So many of you on here. We're well over 111 now. So, but let's do this. See, let's first of all agree to disagree, because I know there's going to be a lot of disagreement on here tonight. Carolyn Noelani, Stephanie Nora, aloha. But let's, if you could all, I see all the likes, I see all the hearts, and I see all the thumbs up, and I see all of that. Yeah, I checked it out, Tiffany. I already checked out the cough. It's not corona. It's just a stinking cold. Yeah, start the watch party. Thank you, Adam. If you could all click on the share, start your watch party now. I want this video, and it's just not me, guys and gals. Killeen, Connie, your comments are on here as well. So this is an opportunity. This will go viral with you as the lead. I want this to go viral. I want this to go viral for a couple of reasons. Julie DeCosta, number one, I think it's important information. And I think it's information that collectively between you and I, that we can share to as many people as we possibly can. We do that by sharing this. Right now, go ahead and click the Start a Watch Party button. And go ahead and we'll get this thing out viral tonight. Erica, Keone, aloha, you guys. And then the second thing is, you know, we may not see elected officials in the comment block right now. You know, we have been visited by some of our elected officials. A lot of council members come on. We've been visited by Senator Kochi a couple of times. Wallace Nishimura, Tyson, Damien, aloha. But they do come back and watch it after the fact. And I know this. So I think it's imperative, hey, Mila, that we get our comments on this show. And we're up at 146 right now. This is insane. Ipo, Sheila. So that when those leaders, those elected leaders, appointed leaders, whoever they are, come on after the fact, they get to see your opinions. They get to see how you feel. Kavika, Belinda, trust me, they go through them. And it's evident because typically we get 50 or 60 people on the live version. And at the end of the week, we get 3,000 views. Lance, what's up, Lance? Belinda, Kavika, David. We might hit 200 tonight. Holy moly. But it's imperative, Marcos and Reen, it's imperative that we get that information out because some tough decisions are going to have to be made. This coronavirus is very, very, very serious. Megan, Nelson, what's happening? Charlie, all right up, Charlie. I will start off by just giving some numbers. You know, there's a website. I'll post it up on my page right after this. Kanani, what's up? Jay. And there's a website that keeps track of the statistics. Hey, Kelly. of this virus worldwide. And you can sort it by country, you can sort it by state, you can check out all the numbers. It's updated live. So the numbers, Eddie, what's up? Oh, I didn't see. I saw you, Rick. I didn't see your mom. Tell Auntie Nana I said hi. Clayton, Tito, Tammy, and Jolene. Again, I apologize if I miss you on the comments because I'm going to start getting into the discussion. So I apologize. But again, I am watching the comments. If you have a question or a comment, please put it in the box. What's up, Mark? But anyway, so this website tracks all of the cases throughout the world, and so yesterday's when the counters closed yesterday, 9,259 total cases in the United States of America. Right now, right before I started this, I went on, and again, it's live. It was already up to 9,458. So just a couple of hundred increases. Yesterday, I mean, from when the thing closed a few hours ago till now, we already have close to 200 new cases, 155 deaths. We had 150 deaths yesterday. So just today, 5 more people died. 108 people have recovered completely. There's 9,173 active cases. 64 of the patients are in serious or critical condition. And as you know, and you heard, Hawaii, we have 16 cases here in Hawaii. And Margie, Yvette, Misty, Cassie, Rose, JM, aloha, you guys. This is a serious problem, and it's not going to go away soon. It's just not. Now, I know a lot of people minimize the impact. I think as every day that goes by, we're at 200 people. Thank you very much. I know a lot of people minimize this and think of it as just being a flu or just like the flu or common cold. And that's not the case. And I think every day that goes by and as people get educate themselves, they're finding out that this is a very, very dangerous virus. I know a lot of people say, well, more people die from the flu. True, but based on numbers, this COVID-19, this coronavirus is much more deadly. It's much more dangerous. The flu infects an average of 1.3 people, and I'm getting this right off of the website. This is facts. This is not fake news. COVID-19 infects an average of 2 to 2.5 people. In other words, if you have the common cold or the flu, the average infection rate for you to pass it on to someone else, 1.3 people. This one is upwards up to 2.5 people. So you're talking twice as many people get infected by carriers of this virus. The incubation time for the flu, it's 1 to 4 days. So you're infected anywhere from 1 to 4 days. So typically you get the flu, you catch cold, you go home, you take some meds, you don't really infect many people. But what is COVID-19, they're saying 1 to 14 days, median, 1 to 14 days, but some doctors have posted incubation rates of up to 3 weeks. In other words, you could be walking around with this virus and not even know it. Hospitalization rate for the flu, 2%, COVID-19, 19%. I know this is boring statistics, but I want to get it across to you folks that this is not the flu and this is not the cold. This is a new virus that is killing a lot of people. Obviously, we don't have a vaccine for it. And here, this is the big problem. This is where it gets really, really dangerous. It takes up to 14 days for symptoms to show up with the corona. Up to 14 days. The median is about 5, but bottom line is half of the people, it takes more than 5 days, and the other half less than 5 days. For the flu, it's around 2 days. So again, you can see that you could have this for 14 days without having any signs of this virus. Now, it's also some people will have had the symptoms or not have the symptoms. They have contracted the coronavirus and not even know. They wouldn't even know it because either they didn't come out with any symptoms or they had very mild symptoms. The problem is whether they had symptoms or not, they're a carrier of this virus, this highly contagious virus. Remember, average infection rate, 2.5 people per infected person. Highly, highly contagious. So you got people walking around right now that have this virus and we just don't know. That's why as the tests become more available, as more tests are being done, you'll see the dramatic rise in numbers, and it's going to freak everybody out. But the bigger danger is not so much of how many people, how many young, healthy people are getting it and recovering. This isn't about us. This is about the kupuna. This is about the people that have underlying health conditions that this virus kills. Valerie, Denise, Kale Kawi, Kalani Lee, and Namnama, how are you? People are walking around today in every state of this country and all parts of the world carrying this virus, not knowing that they have it. You go to the doctor, if you don't have a fever, if you don't meet the threshold, you don't get tested. So there's a lot of people that don't know that could actually have the virus, may have had the virus, had a cold, got over it, and they will not be counted. They will not be counted. And that is why it's so important. Isolation is so important. That's why it's so important to keep people away from infected people. But how do you keep people away from people that you don't know if they're infected or not? Kent, Kayulani, how's it going? So it is Shelly, it's a very dangerous virus. It's a very contagious virus. And this is not about instilling fear. These are facts. These are facts that we must understand because we have not seen the peak yet. If you look at Italy, I posted a video today on my page, and check my page because there's a lot of videos. But there's a video where this gentleman read a letter from an American woman living in Italy and saying, you know, America, you guys got to get a handle on this. You guys are behind. You need to isolate. Kyle, Vernon, Don, what's up? Don and Don, Jerome. We need to isolate. We need to keep people away from infected people. And when you don't know who they are, it makes it difficult. We are 2 weeks behind Italy. We have an opportunity to learn from Italy on what, you know, in Italy, everybody went to the hospital. Everybody got sick, went to the hospital, infected the healthcare personnel. There were a lot of things that were done in Italy that we do not have to copy. And we are learning every single day. But the bottom line is we gotta be very cognizant about isolation. It's a dangerous virus. So, you know, we talked about the county's response. We talked about the curfew. You know, I'll be honest with you. So how is a 24-hour-a-day curfew so no one comes in contact with anyone? You know, that's what a lot of jurisdictions are doing. In fact, I got a call right before the show, like, why this is really going to do nothing. It's curfew from 9 p.m. to 5 a.m. First of all, I do want to say that, you know, throughout this process, throughout this situation, the crisis, when it broke out and it became the daily discussion, Jeanette, Bethany, Jessica, aloha. I think our administration, our mayor and administration did a fantastic job, not just in transparency, in taking action, in shutting down certain operations and certain activities, certain entities and facilities. That is what it's going to take. That is what it's going to take. Now, the curfew came a total surprise to me. I watched the press conference today, and I was quite surprised. But listen, I know a lot of you, because I've read all the comments, I've read all the angry comments. We cannot afford to have our people come in contact with potentially infected carriers. David Sosner, Wayne, what's up? Regina, aloha, you guys. And we'll talk about the airlines and we'll talk about the boats, but right now we have been and I have been trying to get our state to take some action, and it just refused to do so. So I commend Mayor Kawakami for taking that step, bold step. It's going to be a step that he's going to get a lot of flack for, but I give him credit for being bold enough to say, we're going to start with this curfew. We're going to curb the nighttime activities. We're going to have people stay in their homes to limit or to start that isolation. And I fully support it. Now, some of you are saying that's not going to do anything. Everybody's home anyway. That's not true. You know that. Drive around at night. The roads are full. People are out and about, whether they're dining or drinking or partying or visiting or whatever the case may be. They are out and about, and they are coming into contact with other people. That is the problem with this virus, and we do not take it seriously. I think a lot of the leaders are just hoping that, you know what, pretty soon we're going to come up with this cure, this vaccine, and everything is going to be okay. That's not what the statistics, that's not what the trends in Italy and in South Korea and in China are showing. China is finally flattened the curve. They're finally flattening the curve, but a lot of people died in China. They didn't have hospital space. They're starting to shut down those additional hospitals that were built to accommodate patients because the numbers of patients are diminishing. It's going to happen. We are going to peak, and then we're going to get over it. But until that happens, we have to be diligent. And this curfew, this 9 to 5 curfew, yeah, some of you may think it's useless. Some of you may think it's an inconvenience. Some of you may be pissed off. The bottom line is, it's a start. And if we want to get a handle on this virus, remember, you cannot just say because Kauai only has 2 cases. We haven't tested. They don't test you if you don't have a symptom. How many people are out there walking around carrying a virus, but they don't have the symptoms? So it is what it is. The bottom line is this. If the mayor had come out with a 24-hour lockdown, like in San Francisco and other places in the country, I would support it. Do I like it? Absolutely not. Do I think it's necessary? Yes. And I think this is a first step. I say fasten your seatbelts, people, because the governor is not going to do it. The governor has the ability right now to do a lockdown across the state. He's not doing it. So kudos to Derek. Kudos to Derek for taking that step, knowing that it was going to be a very difficult decision. I anticipate that to be expanded in the near future. I haven't spoken to the mayor, but I got to believe that as we go forward and as these numbers rise, some of you that are criticizing him today are going to criticize him later for not doing it sooner. The criticism belongs at the state level because they are the state. And that is where these lockdowns should happen. And I can only believe that when the mayor realized that it wasn't going to happen, that he took it upon himself to issue this curfew for Kauai. And I would expect that curfew to be expanded in the very near future. Inconvenient, I don't know how many of you was here for the hurricane. It was hell of a inconvenient time. But we came together. We helped each other. We didn't blast everybody because the roads were closed. Yeah, we came together. And for some reason, that's just not happening right now. Everybody's angry, frustrated, we understand, because it doesn't seem like it's such a big deal. Again, a lot of people are saying it's just the flu. It's not just the flu. This is not just the flu. And it's going to take some really extraordinary measures. This curfew is just one example. One example. Why? I don't even understand why we have tour buses on the road right now. We're supposed to be practicing this isolation, this separation, and yet we got busloads of tourists. Why do we have that? Why are we allowing that? And the governor is going to need to step up real soon, or people are going to die. People are going to die. I'm going to take some of these comments. I'm sorry because it's scrolling so fast. I know a few local people who flew to Vegas and are now back, and they did not self-quarantine. Absolutely, they are. That's not responsible. That's not responsible. The governor and president are weak. You're right. The islands are more susceptible. We don't have nowhere to go. Gosh, we're at 225 people, and I'm trying to catch up with these comments. Hang on real quick. We all got to take it upon ourselves to do what is right. We got to protect our ohana, our kupuna. I posted about, the worst thing about this is our kids are in Oregon. We cannot even be with them. But I know that they're practicing self-quarantine. They're at home. They're at home. They both are laid off, but they're at home. They're not gallivanting. But as I see all around the place, people still gallivanting. Thank you, guys. Thank you for coming on. Jeannie and Chris, awesome. So, again, thank you, Mayor Kawakami. Thank you to this administration. Thank you to the advisors that said, let's do this, because we cannot wait. We cannot wait for the governor. I watched every single day. I watched the press conferences from the Kauai County. I watched the press conferences from the state. I watched the press conferences from Honolulu. I haven't seen Maui or the Big Island yet. I did watch the news tonight, and Mayor Kim and Mayor Caldwell both said they don't think it's at the level to do a curfew. When is the level? When people die? When do you do it? When people die? It's going to be inconvenient. We understand that. But if you think about this, imagine, because it's not like, imagine if you got to treat this situation as if everybody is a carrier, including yourself. If you want to stop this pandemic, if you want to stop this crisis, if you want to prevent our kupuna and our loved ones from dying, then we got to be inconvenienced a little bit. We got to practice that. We got to practice the discipline to stay home. I'll be honest. I hope that the mayor will consider a 24/7. Obviously, if you work, there's exceptions. I read on Facebook. Oh, what if I work? Well, if you read the curfew regulations, you're exempted if you're working, if you're going to the doctor, if you're providing home care services for someone. Really, this is there's reasonable exemptions. So, I'm coming in on a flight that's after 9 o'clock. Well, obviously, you're going to be able to go home. Let's take a look at the bigger picture. Let's take a look at the kupuna, or those that are fighting cancer or have been through chemotherapy and their immune systems are deficient. Let's think about those. Instead of thinking about us and about going to the neighbor's house or going down the street or going to a party, think about them, that if they get this virus, they will die. Then maybe the attitude will change. Maybe attitudes will change. And then maybe maybe we need a 24/7. Again, I'm not saying this to scare all of you. This is facts. This is what is happening in other parts of the country and in other parts of the world. I'm not making this stuff up. Listen to those leaders. Listen to those patients that are in Italy or South Korea. Listen, do your research, because I'm telling you, this is not a simple cold. This is not something you go to the doctor, get antibiotics, and it'll go away. For most of us, it is. For most of us, it is. But for those that are old, and they consider old over 60, Jesus, I'm 55. So, who knows? It's dangerous. The survival rate, if you're old and you have underlying health conditions, aren't very good. So think of it that way. Don't think of us. Think of the kupuna. Think of grandma and grandpa, auntie and uncle. Think of your loved ones that have underlying health conditions, that if they contract this virus, that they will die. And imagine if you, because you didn't want to stay in your house, that you wanted to go to the bar, you wanted to go bowling, or you wanted to go whatever, and you happen to pick it up. Not even knowing it because you're healthy. No symptoms. No symptoms. So you're okay. I'm not sneezing. I don't have a sore throat. I don't have a cough. I don't have a fever. But you're carrying it. And you can carry it for one doctor reported up to 3 weeks. A lot of people can get infected that way. So that is why I support the curfew. And I would have no problem supporting a curfew of a much larger time span. I would not have a problem supporting a 24/7 curfew. Obviously, there would be circumstances for shopping and things that you got to do. But at the end of the day, we need to stop this virus from spreading. That's everybody's responsibility. Everybody's responsibility. And that is why we got to stop the visitor travel. I have been on Facebook for the last few days. I have been trying to, Sherelle, if the mayor really wanted to protect his people, especially our kupuna, he should have stopped all things from the beginning, especially flights coming in ships. We wouldn't be in this situation. Let me make this clear. The mayor does not have the authority, any of the mayors do not have the authority to stop the flights or stop the ships. He doesn't. I read that so many times. I read that so many times that the mayor got, why he not stop? He cannot. He doesn't have the authority. He's a county mayor. He does have the authority to issue a curfew, and he did that. And I think he did it because he's not going to wait for the state. He's not going to wait for Governor Ige and whoever else. I watch the governor's press conferences every day. And it was yesterday or the day before, General Hara, who's the adjutant general for the Hawaii Guard. He's the adjutant general of the state. He was just named the incident commander for this COVID-19 crisis. And he made it clear at one of the sessions that the president controls the harbors and the governor controls the airports. I have been going back and forth with several people about who can or who cannot close the harbors. Listen, today they keep track of visitor arrivals in the state. Over 20,000 arrivals per day into the state. 20,000, more, 22,000, 24. It varies depending on the day. Imagine, you cannot tell me that out of all of those people, 25,000 people per day, that we don't have some infected visitors coming to Hawaii. You cannot tell me that. These people are coming in off of our ships and off of our planes, many of them carrying the virus. And they don't know it. Some of them know. Some of them may have been sick. Some of them maybe are sick. Some of them stopped in Maui, went to the doctor, got on a plane, came to Kauai, infected our people. The bottom line is 20,000+ people a day coming to our state from all over the country, and in some cases from some other countries. And we watch them come off the airplane. We watch them come off the airplane and go right into the community. They go jump in a shuttle van. They go to a rental car station. They go to a hotel. They go to a restaurant. They go to a beach. They come in contact. Remember, 2.5 people per infection. per person. Now, not all 25,000 people are infected, but there are infected people coming off those planes. So I have yet to figure out who has the authority. I believe it's the federal government to stop the flights. Canada just closed their border. Canada, and I'll read this. The border between Canada and the U.S. will close for non-essential travel. This was done by mutual agreement between Canada and the United States. Travelers won't be permitted to cross the border for recreation and tourism. Canada clarified that essential travel won't stop. The trucks that drive the goods, all of those things will continue. Tourism and recreation, you're not coming into Canada. So why the hell are we allowing these people to come into our country? Who knows how many people are coming off those planes that are infected? And I'm sorry, I'm missing a lot of the comments. When I'm done, I'll go back and try to catch up on some of the comments, but I really want to get through these notes. And I apologize. I'm trying to get done by 8 o'clock, but we'll see. So I saw the governor's press conference, and they're going to try to implement screening at the harbors. I was told by the governor's office that the governor doesn't have the authority to deny people to come into our land from a ship. I was told that just today, that the state does not have the authority. And yet, we put a lot of pressure on people on Facebook. Trust me, people listen and watch Facebook. Our leaders watch and read Facebook. So this is really interesting because this came out tonight, updated at 6:51, right before we went on the air. And I don't know if you can see this. Oh, wrong one. I'm sorry. Uh-oh. Hang on. Hawaii officials say passengers and crew must remain on 2 cruise ships heading to Honolulu Harbor. After debating all day long with the governor's office and being told, Mel, you've been in government long enough, you know that the state doesn't have that authority. You know that the governor doesn't have that authority. Well, Wednesday, March 18th, at 6:51, I'm going to read this. This is straight off of my Star Advertiser app. Hawaii officials say passengers and crew must remain on 2 cruise ships heading to Honolulu Harbor. Hawaii Department of Transportation officials said this afternoon that 2 cruise ships carrying thousands of passengers and crew members will be allowed to dock at Honolulu Harbor, but no one on board will be allowed to leave the ships. The announcement is an about-face on guidelines announced earlier that came under fire from Oahu residents. Transportation officials said in today's statement that the Harbors Division is prepared to accept the 2 ships for refueling and restocking of food and supplies, but their passengers and crews will not be allowed to leave the ships. The decision to not allow passengers and crew to disembark came after the governor's Tuesday announcement of the state's 15 days to slow the spread, where he directed visitors to consider postponing their travel to Hawaii for at least 30 days. Well, I guess the state does have the authority. After being told by several leaders, after being told by elected officials, you know that the state cannot do that. We find out today that they can. Why? Because of the pressure. Because of the pressure that people like you and I put on these people to make the right decisions. We're not talking about something that's minor. We're talking about a deadly virus. So now we find out at 6:51 p.m. tonight that the Department of Transportation in fact, did deny those passengers to come off the ship. I cannot, it frustrates me. It frustrates me. Carly says, so disappointing that we got to go live, get nuts, and then they finally do something about it. You know, we elect these leaders to make those decisions for us. You know, they show pride when they announce that they've met with the visitor industry leaders. You know, trust me, I understand that these decisions come with some serious ramifications, consequences for our people. I understand that. I understand that people will lose their jobs. I understand that hours will be cut. I understand that places will close. But we're talking about a virus. We're talking about a pandemic that will kill your loved ones if we don't get a handle on this. Kevin, I'm reading it off straight off, hot off the press. It was the Department of Transportation that came up with that decision to not let them off the ship, because the state controls the harbors. The state manages the harbors. Maybe the state cannot deny the ship to come into the harbor, but the state can definitely stop them from coming onto the island. And that is exactly what happened less than an hour ago, according to the paper. So I got to tell you, it's disappointing because, again, for the last couple of weeks, we all have been told the governor cannot do nothing. The governor cannot do nothing. And listen, this isn't a bash on the governor. I'm pissed off because I haven't seen much come out of the state in the way of stopping the visitors from coming in. I haven't seen or heard. I heard him ask. I heard the governor ask the visitors to not come. So I posted today that if, in fact, the governor believes he doesn't have the authority, and I don't think he can stop the planes from coming, but he could implement, just like Mayor Kawakami did, he could implement a quarantine. He could implement a curfew. He could, this is what I suggested in my post, put out a 21-day mandatory self-quarantine for all visitors coming off the plane. If the feds or whoever the hell is responsible for stopping these flights from coming in, if they're not going to do their job and they're going to watch or think they're going to watch our Hawaii people die, then governor, implement a mandatory 21 days, because doctors have said they've seen the incubation period go as far as 3 weeks. 21-day mandatory quarantine. In other words, you want to spend your cheap money, all your hotels and airfares dropping to bring these people to quarantine in paradise. You want to come to Hawaii, you stay in your room. If you violate that, you get punished. You get punished. Severe consequences. You see, this is not a game. This is a very serious matter which people will die. I don't know how else to put it. So, Governor, if you want to help, you want to save lives, and you don't want to call the president, you don't want to talk to whoever needs to talk to stop these flights because it's going to hurt the visitor industry, it's going to hurt the airlines, it's going to hurt, then put them on a mandatory 21-day quarantine in their hotel room. They can eat at the hotel. They can take a dump at the hotel. They can do everything that they need to do. Yeah, they cannot go out. In other words, stay home. Stay home. Quarantine in your house like everybody else. Don't. When I saw those ads, when I saw those airline sites that keeps track of how many people are following certain airfares, it made me sick to my stomach that you would solicit or advertise to people on the mainland to come and quarantine here in paradise. And in fact, we'll lower our rates. We'll lower our airfare. We'll do everything we can to get you here. I honestly, for the life of me, cannot understand how people would do that. Either they don't understand the gravity of this virus, or they're just a bunch of greedy souls. I hope that it's that they cannot, or they don't understand the gravity of this virus. I think for the most part, I think most people don't understand the gravity of this virus. They don't, and they're finding out. And when they find out, then they're going to go back and jump on the people that are trying this 9 to 5 curfew, a very small price to pay. I hope it gets extended. That's how I feel about this virus. I hope it gets extended. I hope the governor will put a statewide mandatory 21-day quarantine on anybody coming off that plane. If he's serious, if he is serious about stopping the flow of potential infected visitors to this island, he will do that. If he cannot succeed in stopping the flights, then do the quarantine. A little draconian, we can let essential travel take place. 15 days is plenty. We will know in less than 3 days. We need more testing. I'm talking about non-essential travel. I should have made that point clear. I'm following the Canadian model. Recreation, tourism. No, you're not welcome. You're not welcome. Essential travel, if your job is essential and you need to, obviously, that's not what we're talking about. Testing, the problem is, Rich, is we don't, when will we get the full capacity of testing available? And when will we test people that don't show signs of any symptoms or no symptoms of the virus? So you cannot assume that because you not tested, you don't show symptoms, that you're not a carrier. And that is why it's so important to have the isolation. Isolation, isolation, isolation. That is what this is come down to. The biggest influx, 20,000+ a day coming into this state. 25,000 people. What percentage is infected? Who knows? But I know that they are definitely creating some issues for the state. And we are going to see it once more people get sick. But then it'll be too late. Then it'll be too late, Governor. And that's why I am so adamant. That is why I am so vocal. Because apparently enough people have said this. I've read people screaming, cussing that we need to stop this. No one is listening. What policy has changed in Siniki that the mayor can't do it now? The mayor can do it as far as the curfew, and he's done it, and we commend him. But the state now needs to step up, and it's already too late. But as the old saying goes, better late than never. Better late than never. I haven't heard, like I said, I haven't heard much from our state leaders. I haven't. I mean, there's a lot of discussion about taking care of our residents, stimulus, relief packages. And that's rightfully so. We need to take care of our people. People got to pay their bills. There's going to be a lot of people out of work. And understand that there's many proposals going through back and forth negotiations up in DC with Congress and the president regarding a $1,000 check or a $2,000 check, one check versus two checks. That's all going to play itself out. You see, understand this. Right now, we are in the security phase of this crisis. Right now, the main focus should be protecting life, saving lives, preventing people from being killed by this virus. That's number one. That's the security, safety phase. The recovery phase will happen. We've been through disasters. We've been through depressions. We've been through recessions. We've been through all kinds of stuff. We've been through hurricanes. We've been through flooding. We've been through situations where a lot of people lost their jobs. Everyone thought it was going to be the end of the world. That recovery phase will come. It's already started. There's this two-prong tracks that are going. But the bottom line is the recovery phase will happen. This virus will pass. We will get over it. China is seeing the end of it. Less new patients. The curve has flattened. It's going to happen here in the United States. The question is, can we do it without causing unnecessary loss of life? That's the question. Can we do it without losing grandma and grandpa or auntie or uncle or a young person that has a low immune system that's not functioning? Can we get through it without the kinds of devastation and the deaths that other places are seeing? We gotta focus on the now. The now is protection of these people's lives, saving these people's lives. We've been down this road. Like I said, we've recovered. This is the United States of America, strongest country in the world. The stock market will bounce back. Everybody's going nuts because the market. You only lose money if you sell. Don't sell. The recovery, the stimulus packages, all the benefit packages are going to come. If you run out of food, someone will feed you. Your neighbor. Listen, we've been through this. I know some of you wasn't here for the hurricane. You didn't get to witness that amazing neighborhood support, the community support, and understand that. But we are in this one together, and it's huge because it's worldwide. And it's not like a hurricane where once the airplanes shut down, we get no more hurricanes coming. What's happening now is we have a virus that is crazy, very contagious, and every day we're bringing in more of it. How are we going to flatten the curve? I apologize for being loud, and I apologize for being angry, but how are we going to flatten the damn curve when we keep allowing the virus to come in? I'm going to go back and check some comments because I really didn't have a chance, but I think I wanted to make this point. A couple of things I wanted to get across tonight. Number one, this is a very dangerous virus, a very dangerous pandemic. This is not the flu. I hope I made that point clear. And hopefully some of you got educated tonight and understand that this isn't a minor flu. This isn't a minor a crisis. This is a deadly crisis. Movies are made of, fictional movies are made about things like this. This isn't fiction, people. This is real. The other thing is I wanted to get across was we got to make it known to our state leaders that we got to stop this influx of potentially dangerous visitors. Every single person carrying that virus that may not know it is like a loaded gun. And yeah, people will say I'm overreacting. People will say I am overreacting. People will say I'm taking this too deep. I have spent a lot of time reading and listening. I remember when this first came out, I thought a lot of people was overreacting. I'm embarrassed to say, but I really did. I thought people were overreacting. And boy, was I wrong. Was I wrong? This is real. And if you guys think that a little bit of inconvenience with a 9 to 5 curfew is that traumatic in your lives, I'm sorry. But I hope Derek watches this. I hope his administration watches this, or maybe some of you will see him. I actually did text him tonight. I know he's super busy. And again, on top of this crisis, this county, the administration departments had to deal with this flooding and this rain and sewage spills and so forth. And you know what? They've done a hell of a job. And I can only imagine what's on their plate. So, I hope and I pray that this lockdown or curfew expands. I hope many of you agree and will post that to give our leaders that confidence that they're doing what that the people believe is right. I know a lot of you disagree. I read your comments. I've read it. And I know some of you think this is ridiculous. But hopefully you will take the time to study the impacts or the aggressiveness of this virus. Research the areas that have already experienced it. And then make a determination whether or not you think being told to stay in your home for 2 or 3 weeks is that much of an inconvenience. You save a life. Lives will be saved. And if we don't do it, lives will be lost. That's just the reality of it. That's where this has come. I think I'm going to go back up to my notes now. We got a ton of comments. We got 250 people on this thing, and hang on here. Again, I apologize for being so passionate. Hang on here. Safety first. Yeah, I mean, that's what it is. No, I'm curious. No need to apologize. Well, thank you guys. Thank you guys so much. I mean, all we can do is encourage our leaders to do the right thing. Yep, make it known, people. Do your own lives. Blow up Ige's office. Take a stand. And we don't have to be mean. Email them and just let them know. I'm staying home because of my health. Lorraine, you are one that would be vulnerable to this disease. The last thing I would want is for something to happen to you because some clown that was sick on the mainland decided to come quarantine here on Kauai. I mean, that's too many elected officials are underreacting. That's a concern. Good movie analogy. It is a bad B disaster movie where the White House did not listen. Okay, tourists won't tell anyone they're sick. Absolutely. And again, if the governor's plan goes through and he gets his screening set up, my daughter went to the doctor in Oregon. She had a cold. She had a fever. She had the cough. They didn't test her for the flu. They didn't test her for corona. She's young. She's healthy. She could have had it. She could be a carrier today. So she's quarantined herself at home on her own. I pray it never gets to this point, but when people see the severe effects of COVID-19 impact their own family, then it will become apparent. And Kali, I hate to say you're right, and we just cannot let that happen. We here on Kauai, in the state of Hawaii, gotta stop that from happening. And the only way that's gonna happen is by being heard. I vote to shut the gates. I'm assuming that meant vote. I wish we could do the vote right here. I don't disagree. It just makes it difficult to avoid throngs of people shopping. Carol, like I said, it's gonna come with sacrifice. Remember after the hurricane, you couldn't go to the store. There was no stores. There are no stores. So it's the same thing. It's a sacrifice. It's temporary. It's temporary, people. After the storm, we had to wait for utility lines to come up. We had to wait for roads to be fixed. We had to wait for everything. No, this is temporary. Totally agree. You're loud, because you have love. I do. Hang on, I just checking comments, guys. We don't think it's ridiculous. We said now this. If we took action from the very beginning, we wouldn't be in this situation. Yeah, absolutely. Screening is a waste of money. Again, I don't, the screening may make some politicians feel like they're doing their job. Maybe they believe that as long as we screening is useless if they're only checking for a temperature and asking them, where did you come from? Oh, if you came from a hot spot, you got to go self-quarantine. Everybody quarantine. 14 days, I'd say 21. 21 days. You want to come here for recreation or to be a tourist, 21 days. Sorry. If you don't like it, stay home. That's just the way it is. Hang on, I check in my, let's see. I agree with your perspective on the curfew. People are most vulnerable and most at risk when they are out and about and in close proximity. There are not a lot of cars out late night. Bankers' hours are when the majority of the population are out and therefore at greater risk. Exactly. I'm not sure if you heard my comment earlier. This curfew should be expanded, and I believe it will be. And I wouldn't be surprised that you see the other mayors in the other counties start thinking about it. See, it takes one guy to do it, the unpopular decision, which was Derek, our mayor. And then once they think about it, and they're going to read Facebook, trust me, because that's where you get the tempo of the constituents. They're going to read and they're going to say, you know what, he might be right. Watch them follow. I would like to see Derek expand it even further, because this person that just texted me is correct. It will help, but the majority of the contact is during the day. So it is what it is. Well, I'm out of work. Well, I'm out of work now, so who's down for some protesting? If our state leaders, Hirono shots, Gabbard wanted airport shut down, all I have to do is ask. I emailed all 4 of those guys up at Congress, no response. I got absolutely no response. So that's why we do this Facebook Lives, because hopefully we get you guys to email, and we got to make some noise, people. We got to make some noise. Let's see. All right. I'm going up. I guess they stopped my comments to a certain, I cannot go all the way back up. So anyway, it's a little after 8. What does it say when major cities are closing? Take heed. Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Mayor. You're right. I'm working from home, but we'll join you. Okay. In an emergency, you never regret. We've all been there. We've all been there. Would've, should've, could've. So understand that this is a temporary crisis. As bad as this virus is, as contagious as this virus is, it is temporary. We are going to get to the other side of this. We want to get to the other side of this with the least amount of deaths. The economic recovery will happen. It will. This country has always bounced back. So understand, if you're self-employed, if you have your own business, understand that there's going to be some tough times, and I understand that Congress, the president, our state delegation, our state legislators are working on packages to address that, and I'm okay with that. I think that they should. But the bigger concern right now in this temporary crisis is protecting life, protecting grandma and grandpa. That's where the focus needs to be. I'm willing to sacrifice. I'm willing to do what I need to do to make sure that when this all passes, when we get to the other side, I can look back and say, there are no regrets. That in fact, our actions, as tough as it may be, as uncomfortable as it may be, that it was done to save lives. We should have total lockdown like in Italy. Well, Italy didn't start with the total lockdown, and that's what I think. When you go check my page, you see that one video that I posted earlier today, that if Italy had done that, and this was all new for Italy, this was all new for China. It's not new for us. We have actually three countries that sustained some major hits, lost a lot of people in China, South Korea, and Italy. There is no excuse for us. And as tough as it may seem, as draconian as it may seem, as heartless as it may seem, when we look back, when this thing passes, we're going to say, I can promise you, we're going to say, you know what? It's a good thing we did that. It's a good thing we did that because we saved a ton of people. The problem in all of this, if the state doesn't do their part, then we will not flatten the curve as quick as we need to, and we will lose loved ones. As sad as that is the truth. Anyway, I'll take a few comments. Anybody here? We don't want to be that statistic. Absolutely. Mahalo, Uncle Mel, for always getting to the point. Protecting our people first, not those that chose to come here on a plane. Thank you, guys. Italy was a very high tourist country. Yep. They will wipe us out. Yep. We had examples prior to this. We should, yeah. Again, we don't have that excuse. The financials aren't going to matter if as much people think. Payment deferrals will happen. Mortgage companies. Jay, we know that, right? We've seen it. We're already hearing the talk. We're already hearing the government prohibiting your credit scores from dropping. And I mean, that's going to come. If your house is on fire and you have that sentimental thing in the house and you got to put out the fire, because if you run into the fire, you will die. This coronavirus, now is not the time to be worried about my electric bill or my water bill or my Macy's credit card bill. No, now is the time. What we should be telling ourselves is, I do not want to be the one that possibly carries this virus and that I don't know about. Or I don't want to be the one that comes into contact with someone that came into contact with someone that had the virus and is a carrier. And that you, in fact, indirectly cost someone their life. That's the mentality we got to have now. That really is the mentality we got to have now if we want to beat this crisis, this virus. Total believe we need to do prevention and never prepared for alcohol, toilet tissue. Yeah, absolutely. I cannot believe why people hoarding. That's another thing. I don't have time for talk about toilet paper, but really, I think everybody fully stocked now, so we should be okay. Patsy went to the store tonight, picked up some medicine, and
anybody needs,
we are missing the point here. We need to cut all visitors from the island. Hotels and rental cars can't take any more reservations. Lockdown you to do it. Shut everything down. Keep it. That's exactly what I think will happen. Skyla, I'm sorry. I think that will happen, and I'm hoping that this communication tonight will get to the right people, and that they will utilize your comments of encouragement to give them the courage to make the right decision. You see, like the ones with generational roots, see the rationale. It's primarily a selfish first-gen Hawaii temporary residents that don't have the take care kupuna mentality. Well, I think, I don't know what it is. I think a lot of it is fear. A lot of it is anxiety. I think a lot of it is just legitimate stress of how am I going to pay the bills. I'm just saying, let's not worry about that right now. Let's go save a life. And you save a life by staying the hell away from everybody. stay in your home. And I am hoping, Mrs. Cole, aloha, Mrs. Cole. I am hoping that this message reaches far. And I'm hoping that this message, along with all your comments, all 489 comments, will get to the right people, and some decisions will be made at the state level. Again, it's 10 after 8, people. I'm going to let you guys go. I appreciate you guys being on. We had a record number tonight. We'll be back next week, hopefully with some better news. You know, let's work together on this. We all got to work together on this. We got nowhere to run. We're on an island. And I think that's what separates us from everywhere else on the mainland. We have a different mentality. We have a different culture. I hate when people try to compare us with Oregon or San Francisco. We're not. We are Kauai. We are Hawaii. We are different. We care for our kupuna. We care for our people. And let's prove it. Let us prove it. If the mayor decides to expand the curfew to a 24-hour curfew, I hope that all of you on this call or on this session will post and say thank you. Thank you. If you know the mayor personally, if you know leaders throughout the state personally, if you have connections, let them know. Let them know. This is not, this is real. I guess that's the best way of putting it. This is real. And we collectively can save a ton of lives if we do our part. But we need the government's help as well. With that, I'm going to sign off. It is 8:12. Guys, thank you so much. We broke every record tonight. I don't think we'll ever do it again. We'll be back next week. Please, if you have a chance, share this to everybody on your page. Share it to everyone that you know. Let's make this go viral. Let's get this message out. And let's see if we can make some change. God bless you guys. We love you. Aloha. Good night.